And then she would, and then Clarence would go looking for me. But anyway, I'd always show back up. Somehow I made it back.
Never had any rest, did you, Clarence?
No.
Always
No.
chasing these kids.
Yeah, we literally would chase us around. So I'd just get off and just go, go
Had
ride.
no fear.
No fear. And then we hooked up with your sons.
That was a
again,
combination.
You're talking about
added more fuel
the
to
fire and the fuel. So that was at a very early age. And one of the things, Clarence would always, Dad not being there, and Clarence would be one of the main.
Good big brother.
That's definitely we would go down to the Swatty and on fishing trips. That was the first thing. Remember we'd always go carp fishing with we had it was worms and dough balls, and we'd sit there catching carp. And
you mounted a nice big one of Larry Raines. It was like about this long. You mounted for him that time.
Wow.
And then we graduated from that. We would start doing rafting trips.
Rafting.
That's when the rafting came in.
Oh yeah.
And
did a lot of that.
I used to take and put a canoe on my car, drive up past the gap, put the kids on the creek, and they would sail all day. And at lunchtime, I'd meet them in Hershey, and we'd have a picnic lunch, and then they'd go from there all the way down to TMI, and I'd pick them up after work and bring them home.
Really?
Well, we never went that far.
You did the big float. My God.
Yeah.
That was. Oh my gosh.
I didn't do what they did. I was working.
You would.
But I was the transportation.
Yeah, you were the. That's right.
The
Yeah,
chauffeur.
That's where this rafting thing came. Right? That's where the guide came, right?
That's probably
exactly
right.
where that came from. Was our adventures on the Swatty out here.
And the other thing, before they go to school in the morning, when there was school, Bob and Rick and Ron would go on the creek and fish in the morning, early. They'd come home, I'd have breakfast made for them. We'd clean the fish, pack them up and put them in the freezer, and they'd go to school. Honestly. And then I'd go to work. And
ask them who taught them to do that.
Didn't you trap? Did you trap?
Yeah.
You trapped.
Well, Mom, you remember that? We would. She'd drive us out to check the traps in the morning before school.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
We would go down to the rock wall.
I thought, here I am, a widow. Now, why did we have to have boys? Why couldn't I have girls?
Bombs Hill. We would trap raccoons down there, and we had to drag Mom with us and to go check the traps. And we had traps over here off of Lingle Avenue.
wow.
And then we would also we did that over by the Swatty.
And did you sell the fur or the pelts?
Yeah. That was big money back in the day. That was we were getting, $50 for a raccoon and $150 for a fox. I never caught a fox, but muskrats would bring.
What's that guy's name?
Muskrats would bring about 10 or 15 a piece. So that back in
that was a lot of money back
1975, 70, or early, back in the mid 70s, that was big money.
Did you trap anything down at your grandfather's, that little stream that used to run in the back of his place?
Yeah, that was another big, we would trap down there. I think we'd drag you down there.
Yeah,
We would trap right there, So anyway, that was a big thing. Mom would drag us to check the traps in the morning. Oh, remember you would go fishing with us down, we'd go to the canal. Do you remember taking us to the canal?
Canal.
by Hershey.
Yeah, the Swatty. You would go down there and catfish. We would catch. Don't you remember that? Across that Singing Bridge.
Yeah, I don't know. Did so many things I can remember them all.
You don't remember the story when you went to pick us up one time and the state police were doing some.
Oh, that's right. Oh, the state police. I'm driving to this road and looking for my boys.
Because she would drop us off. I mean, and then
And then I get close to where they're going to be, and I see the state police cars all over the place.
Your heart stopped.
My heart stopped, and I thought it was for them. You know what I mean? I forget who it was for.
I don't know. They had some kind of
But
what they were
I mean,
doing.
that was an experience.
Mhm.
Cause that was right where you guys were fishing.
Oh yeah, and we'd hang out at the quarries, you know, that was another, we weren't allowed to be in there, but we would always go. I think your kids as well.
Probably so.
Oh
Yeah.
Probably so.
We had a little secret fishing hole there. We would park our bikes on the other side and we'd crawl down under the culvert tunnel
Yeah,
because we didn't want anybody to know we were
you were over there.
over there. So we'd make sure our bicycles were on the other side of the road and we'd crawl underneath the road to get to the, we called it our secret quarry hole.
Never liked that place.
You what?
We
Never
took you
liked
down
it.
there, didn't we?
Not that I can remember. I hated that place.
You hated it? Yeah.
I couldn't swim. You know?
Oh!
Oh, yeah. Anyway, that was we would all go down there. That was our kind of a secret fish. Oh, we come back with, you know, stringers full of fish.
Gigantic fish.
And I guarantee your boys would go down there. They just didn't tell you.
I didn't hear any stories
No,
about
no.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway, you could write a book.
Yes, and a very interesting one too.
Oh, yeah. I was scared to death half the time.
Rick said he took a group of men out on the river on the Gunnison.
Oh, yeah.
And they were fishing. And this one guy just couldn't catch anything. No matter what he did, so Rick called him aside. He said, I'm going to give you some pointers on how to cast and what to do. And he did. And the guys were being good-natured, but they were kind of teasing him a bit. Rick says, don't worry about them. They're just all talk. He says, I know a special place. You and I are going to go. We're going to get the biggest fish. So they leave these guys in this area and they paddle on down to this other place. This guy lands a beauty. And he was so taken up with it. He held that fish on his lap that whole day. And the other guy says, oh, Rick probably caught that. Rick says, one thing you're going to find out, I never lie. He says, that man caught that fish. And he had a smile as big as all outdoors. So they get off the stream or river, and they were weighing and taking pictures. And that guy did really have the biggest fish. And he says, oh, that picture is going to be worth 1,000 words. He says, nobody could ever believe that I would catch that,
Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
did. He was so proud of that. And one other time, Rick says, the nicest experience was when a guy took his young son, I don't know how old he was, maybe 8, 10 years old, and he says it was such a wonderful get together with the father and the son. He says that was worth every single penny.
Right.
That togetherness that they shared.
Really?
Yeah. And he signed up for the following year on the spot. He said, I'm
Did he?
coming back. He said, but this time I'm bringing the wife and the
Oh.
daughter too.
Oh.
That's why Jimmy's kids out there, they really have it, great.
Yeah.
For stuff like that, man. Out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
the kids driving a boat around on that lake. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
family project.
Yeah.
So how many B-29s did you put together? How many B-29s did you put
B-52s
together?
or
Oh,
whatever.
52s.
The B-52.
I don't
No, that wasn't built till 1952.
We just,
Oh, so the
54.
we just packed them to
That's
both homes.
so
cargo
B-54s?
Yeah,
Is that what they
cargo.
were? Okay.
B-54 bombers.
C-54
Oh,
probably.
C-50
And C-38s.
or P-30.
P-38.
P-38s.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember doing that?
I remember doing it, yeah. I remember that.
Actually, it might have been B-17s because Middletown,
I
that's what
remember
they
my
had.
mechanic, his name was Leroy Spade.
B-17s
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
or
really?
I remember that
25s.
number.
Yeah.
Leroy Spade was the mechanic.
Right.
Huh.
I worked with them.
Uh-huh.
It's from Myerstown.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we all lived through periods of history. You did, and I did, and
Yeah.
he did. Everybody had that
We got
experience.
two coal crackers here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, that was a period of time when the women were joining the WACs and the Navy and the Army. My sister joined the WACs,
Mhm.
and I left to work on defense work. That's what they called it.
Right.
And things were happening. People were leaving their areas of
Yeah.
comfort.
That's right,
They
cause
were.
up till then, they stayed pretty much
Yeah.
at home.
Mm-hmm.
It was during the war. The war started.
There's a famous picture on Times Square where the sailor grabs this girl
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's kissing. They never found out who that was. Everybody says it was me, but they nobody
Really?
that
I'll
they
be
could
darned.
pinpoint and say.
Could pinpoint,
was
we know
him.
who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably some pictures of you somewhere doing your job, yeah.
Yeah. I probably have some in the collection. I remember a couple of them.
I like to see a picture of you when you were a teenager. Bet you were beautiful.
No, that's not beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure you were. Now, in Polish, what did they say for Alberta?
It was the same.
Really?
Except
See,
Alberta.
'cause-
Yeah, Alberta. That's what my mother called me. What were you called?
Maruszka.
Mariska. Yeah, I can see that. That's what.
Yeah.
That's for Marie.
Yeah.
Mariska.
Maruszka.
Maruszka. What was your place of birth?
Marion Heights.
Marion
It's
Heights.
near Mount Carmel and Shamokin.
I know where Mount Carmel was.
Okay, it's 3 miles from Mount Carmel.
Okay. That was close to Pittsburgh.
Not very
A little
far.
bit bigger than this room. Not much, a little bit.
And what brought you to
That's
this
up in the
area?
mountains there, I mean, it's, you know, it's
We lived on top of a mountain. It was a
Yeah.
little village on top of
a
a
little
mountain.
village on the mountain.
Yeah.
What brought you to this area?
Well, I came first of all to work down at Indiantown Gap.
Indiantown Gap, okay.
Then I got married to a hometown boy who was already in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple months later, I was going overseas. And we spent the next several years going all over the world. And then it was time for him to retire. And he didn't know where he wanted to go. And I said, he asked me, and I said, I'm not picking it. I could make a home anywhere, but if I pick the place and you don't like it, I'll hear about it the rest of my life. So you pick it and we'll just settle there. And we were thinking about where he could find employment after that. And this area was great because we had Middletown going, we had New Cumberland going, we had Carlisle,
Yeah.
and we had the Gap. We moved here and they all shut down.
Oh, yeah.
And there was
Oh, my
nothing. Now Carlisle is kind of, they're still there because they're a war college, but they're not.
So what
as-
happened then? Where do you work?
He ended up working part-time for a short time in the post office in Harrisburg.
Oh.
And I guess he didn't care for that. And then he went down to Lebanon to the VA.
Mhm.
And that's where he ended up.
Mhm.
But this was a good place because we weren't far from our parents, who never got to see us except
Mhm.
once every 3-4 years. I have only one brother, no
So
sisters.
it sounds like your kids just took that model.
Yeah, so there was just 2 of us, and my parents, poor things, they never saw their kids, because my brother
Oh.
was in the Air Force. So he'd be in one hemisphere,
Oh, wow.
I'd be in another one. Our paths didn't cross for 10 years, and one
my
Christmas, we were all home. And my mother thought she died and went to heaven.
Mhm.
Oh, all her grandchildren were there, and her
Wow.
kids were there. And then again, we start going different areas, and my brother's gone, Jim is gone. I'm the only survivor, survivor left.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
What?
Oh, we have 10 more minutes to tell everything there is to tell.
Oh,
Give me some of your secret recipes.
I don't have any anymore, I don't cook.
Oh, you don't cook anymore.
No.
Don't you remember some good recipes?
Oh,
No?
anything I could make, you could make better.
Oh, I know.
How's that?
When's the
What?
last time you made pierogi?
But oh, you got 20 years ago. Well, you gotta remember, I'm living up there in this home.
The Taj Mahal.
Yeah, Taj Mahal.
Joe O'Connell you used to be there.
I used to make, the Woonkies and, did you make them?
Oh, good.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, Mom, do you remember back? Let's see. Let's go back to the football days.
Yeah. How I used to have to make a special meal for you before you left for
Right.
practice.
And what did I tell you one day? Oh, and then Mom, I go out and give a lot of talks now. And, she's like, I helped you. Anyway, she remembers working with me and.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
I was a perfectionist, so.
I remember pacing
Yes.
back and forth on the kitchen floor with your speeches.
And paper, yeah.
But that was good. It gave you.
Yeah.
No, nothing was good enough, right? And,
Nothing was ever good
she
enough.
would-
He was so fussy. And now he's using all that stuff.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
She
good.
helped me.
That's good.
I remember that so clearly.
And then I started playing. Then when I started playing football, that was we'd spend a lot of time, and the concentration before the game. Mom would help prepare us.
He'd sit there on the chair like Clarence, one of those chairs, and he'd just like this, sit there for about an hour and just think. His
Put
mind was,
myself in the mood.
that's right,
Yeah, that's called concentration.
very much so, yeah.
So were you offense or